What's up YouTube, Photoshoot here, and this month we got another deck profile. This is of course the deck profile for the month of February, and we got more of a meta deck this time with TG Stun. I personally I don't like to play this deck this much because it's one of my least favorite decks in terms of fun, I guess, or if you take a more casual approach, because all those old formats are not only for any kind of competitive improvement in terms of deck building, but also they should be fun, of course. And TG Stun is, of course, more of a stun deck, which you like, you don't like. And it's probably the most efficient stun deck in this format. Not only does it have anti-meta elements, but also the capability to grind with all your floaters. And of course, not only are you able to main deck cards like Skill Drain, but you also have a lot of synchro options thanks to Striker Warwolf plays. And of course, the inclusion of Reborn Tango is very strong as well, because it gives you more synergy with your Horn of the Phantom Beast, which Rush Rhino will also get. And yeah, so you can also play one of the strongest floaters in this format, a card that found its way in a lot of other decks as well, besides Tentacle Plant. So you got a lot of synergy, synchro plays, and you can grind with the deck. So it outshines traditional anti-meta decks in a lot of ways. And this is probably the reason why it topped back in the day and also won a YCS. I think it was a kid back in the day that had only one Sun Warning. I think it was in Rabbit format, so it was in or shortly before the banned list. I'm not sure. TG Striker went to 1 in the March of 2012, but I don't think that this hurts the TG stun deck that much, because you are not that reliant on your synchro plays. So it could have been in March, after the March banned list as well. I'm not sure right now. So, but as I said, the deck won a YCS. The deck topped a couple of times in the 2011 format, but also in 2012. So it got that for itself going as well. So without further ado, let's get to the deck profile. So let's start with the monsters. First we got, of course, our 8 TG monsters, which are 3 TG Werewolf, 3 TG Werewolf, 3 TG Rush Rhino, which is probably the most important one of the TGs, because it can turn into a 2k beater whenever it attacks. So you can run over Pandaking Ryo and Reborn Tango, which are the most important normal sums in this format, besides Guide, of course. And double TG Striker. You want to go more for a beatdown game with this deck, so you'll rather draw the other ones, but he's still decent. Cyber Dragon effect, basically, and a tuner, so you can go into all your synchro plays. Of course, there is this combo rare special Striker, special Werewolf, then normal Sum Tango or TG Werewolf, TG Rush Rhino. So you can go into Trishula, and of course you got also access to Bakyon or cards like Gaia Knight, which are very strong. Of course, Gaia Knight is very strong, and the Skill Drain. Yeah. And 3 Reborn Tango, one of the Phantom Beast synergy, also pretty good card with your tuner, and also floaters. So all your TG monsters are floaters. Tango is basically the same thing. And then, of course, 2 copies of Beast King of Barbaros. Also, a card which is very strong on the skill drain, of course, even without skill drain, it's a decent beater. Also, there's also the Horn of the Phantom Beast synergy as well. So all of your monsters besides Striker got Horn of the Phantom Beast synergy. Then spells, which are not that much. 3 copies of Pot of Duality. You play your slow, grindy Stunish deck, so you are not that reliant on your special summons, and it's a great consistency card, of course. And then you got stable cards, Book of Moon, one of the best -1s in the game. Then Dark Hole and Monster Reborn. No Heavy Storm, because there are going to be a lot of traps. First, we got 3 Skill Drain. What a coincidence! This card recently went to 3 in the TCG, so I think all the Eldritch players and True Draco players are going to be very happy about that. This card, if you flip this card in this deck, you are going to be very happy as well. Turns almost everything out. Besides Dark Words, so our server plays with Dark Words, with the Columbus format, and I don't think there's a reason to play it without it, because it gives you a lot of interesting strategies, especially for your side deck, and how much you're going to be prepared for that. So besides Dark World, TG Stun is probably the deck that can use this card the best. I mean, there's also Malefic Stun, but Malefic Stun is not that great of a deck. And of course, I also play 1 copy of Vanity's Emptiness, so I decided to play a 4 Floodgate. The problem I have with this card is that a lot of players think this card is kind of underexplored in this format, but I disagree with that, because it's way better when you can establish a big board, which is not that easy in those older formats. So in this deck, it's kind of a different case, because you can summon all those big beaters and can flip this up when your opponent goes for, I don't know, even if your opponent goes for a tour guide play or for any kind of plan to play, and you can just turn 1 special summon off. That's going to be very good, because this deck it's not going to main Maxis. They are in this side for going second, of course. So it's kind of nice as a 4th Floodgate. And of course, 3 Horn, the heart and soul of the deck. Next, your monsters run over almost everything. Then 2 TG swaps. Great card as well. The thing is, it's especially against those chaos plays. It's a great card. Or BLS, because you can chain it as a trap. The only problem when I don't run 3 is that sometimes when you go for your Tango or your Barbaros Beaton plan, you don't have any kind of TG. Drawing multiple copies of this card is kind of bad, so you can justify just running 2, because you still want to see this card more. So it's like a wise player once said, you want to see it sometimes, but not all the time. And 2 Prison. This is especially important when your opponent summons Thunder King Ryo and tries to run over your TGs, so you can just prevent that. And yeah, I don't think I have to explain why I run double Prison in a trap deck. And 2 copies of Bottomless, which I think Prison is a bit stronger in this format, especially thanks to priority. It's still decent while going first, especially if you can just Bottomless something like Thunder King or Leviathan Dragon. But it's still it's very lackluster when you go second, especially if your opponent just summons anything. So I would say this card a lot of the time out while going second. It gets better, of course, when priority goes, but it's kind of self-explaining. Double Warning, best traps in the format, and of course Solemn Judgment. Then a couple of one-off traps, torrential, mirror force, of course, as well. So we run 3 battle traps, 1 copy of compulse, 2 bounce backs, any kind of synchro monster. So I think it's kind of nice as a one-off. Gives you more options to deal with stuff. And then of course, and then also 1 Starlight Road and 1 Dark Bribe. I don't want to run double Starlight Road because it can be dead, and Dark Bribe still can be used offensively. So it does the same job basically like Starlight Road, where it protects you from Heavy Storm. And people say, yeah, you draw a card when you activate Dark Bribe. Yeah, if I prevent a Heavy Storm from resolving, I'm absolutely fine with my opponent drawing a card. But because what is going to draw the second Heavy Storm? So yeah, that's basically the whole plan. Then the extra deck, 1 Trishula, which you actually can make quite easy with Warwolf Striker, and a level 4, which can be Tengu or a Rush Rhino. So you can trish your opponent with an anti-meta deck. That's kind of nice. Then, of course, 2 level 8s, 1 Scrap Dragon, 1 Stardust Dragon. For the level 7s, just run Black Rose. This deck is not going to some level 7s that efficiently, so you just need to run the Black Rose. And there are not a lot of level 7s in this format anyway, which you can run. I mean, there is Fairy Dragon, which is okay. I mean, you run it in plants because it's a second debris target. But besides that, there are not a lot of good generic level 7 synchros. I mean, next thing you got is Scrap Archfiend, but Scrap Archfiend kinda sucks. And yeah, besides that, there are quite a lot of good level 7 synchros, but there need very specific monsters like Armor Master needs a Blackwing, or Sacred Wyvern, or Arcanite Magician. So I think you will see where I want to go with this. Then level 6, which you're going to make a lot. 1 Bryonek, 1 Orion Dragon. I think should be almost a staple like Bryonek in most of the decks. Deals with a lot of stuff. 1 Gaia, which is very good with in skill ran decks, of course. 1 Natura Bachyon, which you can make with Striker and Rush Rhino. So you got a lot of variety with your level 6 synchro pool. Then level 5s, which you can make quite easy as well. 1 Wonder Magician, 1 Power Gladiator, because piercing and drawing a card is good as well. Both of the synchros draw a card, so they still get you something. And Catastor. No Hyper Librarian, because you don't have that much use for Librarian in this deck. I mean, he has 100 attack more than Power Gladiator, but doesn't have the piercing effect, and you not going to spam that much synchros anyway. So, and your deck should be fine against the Catastor. So, then we got the Exceeds, which are, of course, Utopia and Steelstone Roach. Roach is especially good in this deck because you have a lot of options to protect it. And for the level 3s, which you're going to make occasionally, but not that often, Leviathan Dragon. So if you go for if you're going to overlay 2 Werewolves, then you definitely want to have the attack boost and not Levy Area for any kind of weird play. And 1 Chimera attack. This deck runs Cyber Dragons in the side deck, so that's why Chimera attack is in the extra deck. So this was the TG Stun deck profile. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe. Until then, that was the deck profile for this month. If you want to join our Discord server and become a citizen of the Tango Plant Town, of course, join our Discord. We got a tournament coming up now. It's for March, for the middle or the end of March. So stay tuned for that. Besides that, see you later.